Hello everyone, this is just a brief screencast, and I just wanted to call your attention to some real important areas within the course shell. Every course has what we call a Moodle shell, and within your Moodle shell you have News from Instructor. And in this course, check several times a week for announcements. That's really important, and that goes back to looking at the syllabus as a document, reminding you how important it is to check online messages. That is one of the course objectives as well, and course outcomes is that you will consistently check for new attending messages. And I've had a couple of office hours on Friday, and what I've learned from that and from some messages from students since that time, even up to today, that students aren't checking that. And that's a problem, because you're missing out on a lot of really good information that's going to help you be successful. So the News from Instructor teacher is very important, because who's going to give you the best resources to help you be successful in the course? It's the teacher. So you want to be checking this. So for example, I've had some questions are related to, what health professions do you want us to study? What do you want us to study on those? Well, there's some guidance certainly in the study guide, but I've given you a real good resource within this, and you can see I've been putting things up here all term long. And I can see who's checking here and who isn't, and from my own research and what I'm seeing a lot of students are not checking this resource, which is a problem, because you're missing out on a lot of information. And I think, whenever you're getting messages from someone acting in a supervisory role, as like the supervising PT, you want to look at those messages. That's pretty important, that message board. There is a way of getting these messages actually sent to your email, so they pop up. Some of you have done that already. Certainly you can contact ATC or SHED. There are numbers in the syllabus on how to make that happen. But here we go. This is one that I put up on Monday, which answers that question about health professions. So I actually went ahead and said, here, this is what you're going to do. We're going to take this information. I chose to delete bullet 3 from the study guide, because I'm not asking you to submit any questions, right, on your health professions, because I got so many from last year that were quite good. So the questions about healthcare professionals are coming from your posts. So there's 28 posts done overall. And so here's the ones that I generated questions from. These here. So not all 28. There's just, I believe, around like 14. So maybe 16 or 17. But the point is, this is going to help narrow your study quite a bit. So this is just very general idea at education level. I'm not really going to go out there to trip you up. One that's come up, and you should really listen to the office hour sessions for the exam prep yesterday. I had one in the morning, one in the afternoon, as has been posted. It's in the Moodle calendar, because I talk about some of these professions and can really help you. So the scope of practice, absolutely, what do they do and how they may interact with a PT, PTA. And from what you wrote, like for example, from what I think we're looking at here, specifically on a physiatrist, if you pull up who did this post, you can read what they wrote and then get a good idea of the scope of practice of a physiatrist. And you will learn that they're a medical doctor, which is a lot of education. I'm not going to split hairs that it's 7 years or 8 years beyond a high school diploma, but it's much more than a traditional 4-year degree. It's a doctorate. It's a doctoral position. They're a medical doctor. So that should help you on that. And then if we go back here as well, just other information is up there throughout the term. So want you to pay attention to that, and also want you to know that your classmates are posting, as per the lesson builder, their definitions of the different terms related to healthcare financing, and that's being done here in this Can You Help Me forum. So we have Group 4 has done theirs, Group 5 has done the Group 1, and I expect the other two groups to have theirs done on time for sure. You got some questions here about the study guide clarification that was done. And then the final thing I'll say is, I can't emphasize enough the importance of reviewing the office hour, because that's where you're getting some really good information. And I'll share with you just something we talked about, is that how much it costs to run a business. And to run a private practice business, over 90% of the costs running a business are for employee salaries and benefits. That's a huge number, right? And then the other information we talked about was that workers' comp actually reimburses better than most commercial insurances, and in many cases reimburses the most. So that's something that you want to tuck away for knowledge. And that's important as a PTA to know that when you have these different payers sources coming through, in the face of a real patient, you know how important it is that you document well, and how the bottom line is so important. Like, for example, if you are seeing somebody who has a closed workers' compensation claim, or has exhausted the benefit, or simply it's not an open claim, it's closed, you may have seen that patient 7 or 8 times, and you're not going to get paid for it. And you can think about the profit margin that's so slim, and that 5%, which some clinics are operating on outside of salaries and benefits, that's also used for infrastructure, to pay the lighting bill, to pay the water bill. And if you have a claim that hasn't been paid in multiple treatments, that can really take a chunk out of the bottom line. And ultimately, what that's going to affect is inventory and your salary too, because it's hard to give salary increases when you're not generating adequate revenue. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Again, wish you all the best in your study, and I look forward to seeing some really good exams on Monday, and just application of learning, right? And a good exam result doesn't necessarily mean you have to get an A+ or an A. It could be a B. It could be a strong C. It could be, what it is for you. And that success is passing this exam. And I am just really optimistic that if you apply your knowledge and study hard, that the results will be good for you. Take care.